Hello and welcome to Insight. I am Elizabeth Omori. On this edition, we will look at an issue affecting women and their well-being, obstetric fistula. The World Health Organization says each year between 50,000 to 100,000 women worldwide are affected by obstetric fistula, an abnormal opening between a woman's genital tract and a urinary tract. The development of obstetric fistula is directly linked to one of the major causes of maternal mortality. It is estimated that more than 2 million young women live with untreated obstetric fistula in Asia and sub-Saharan Africa. Preventing and managing obstetric fistula is on our plate today. Now, 2 years ago, Mr. President Bola Tinubu assumed office. Nigerians entrusted him with the responsibility to lead. No doubt for 2 years, the Tinubu administration reinvigorated the economy and embarked on the journey to rebuild trust and foster prosperity. Under the Renewed Hope agenda, the Tinubu administration pledged to promote economic stability, improve security nationwide, and tackle corruption. We will be recalling our conversation on achievements of Mr. President in 2 years. So, welcome to Insights.
Whatever the issues are,
the National Assembly is constitutionally empowered to scrutinize,
however complex or intricate.
We have involved all the academia, the members of the academia. We have involved the academies.
Be it government's policies or in fact any issue of public concern.
Our job is to help you gain clarity and make sense of it all.
This is not really healthy for our democracy.
There's a lot of agreements in terms of who has been in power longest and who becomes the governor of the state.
it's also in the quality of food being consumed.
After all, perception is insight.
And gaining understanding is also getting insight.
Obstetric fistula, a serious childbirth injury where an abnormal opening develops between a woman's vaginal and a bladder or rectum. This opening, also known as fistula, causes continuous leakage of urine or feces, leading to a range of health, social, and emotional consequences for affected women. Preventing and managing this is a focus on the segment, and my guest, Barakat Adewale, Executive Director, Bashir Foundation for Fistula and Women's Health, will speak to us. Thank you so much for joining us on Insights.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Now, obstetric fistula, what exactly are the causes? Let's hear from you.
Okay, so obstetric fistula, based on that name, obstetric, is as a result of childbirth, usually prolonged obstructed labor. A labor that lasts beyond how long it should last, 24, 48, or 72 hours. And then the labor is obstructed, that there's something blocking a free passage of the child, be it maybe the size of the head of the child, or the position of the child, or the pelvis of the mother, or so many things could actually be a reason why there will be an obstructed labor. So when there is no intervention, when we expect an intervention to happen, obstetric fistula comes in.
Okay. You know, it's sad to also know that even with cesarean section, some women still have this condition. Why is this so?
Okay, while it may still be called obstetric, it is more often called iatrogenic in that case. That's where we now have an iatrogenic fistula. So 2 reasons may happen. One, we have situations where the woman actually developed a prolonged obstructed labor at home, and she has been in labor for 48, 72 hours. The harm has already been done. By the time she gets to the facility, a CS is done, but I mean, the harm is already done at the time. There are also situations where the CS actually goes wrong. Something is cut, maybe the ureter or something is cut wrongly, and then, or maybe the back part of the bladder, something just goes wrong in that kind of surgery, and a fistula occurs. So that's where we have a CS causing fistula.
Okay. Now, some would say, before I go to my next question, some would say rape is also part of it. It could occur when a woman is raped. Is that true?
Yes. So
okay.
Other than obstetric, we have iatrogenic, We also have traumatic fistula. That's where things like rape, things like female genital mutilation, things like an accident causes fistula. So that's a typical example of a traumatic fistula. If we go for antenatal when we are supposed to go for antenatal, a high-risk pregnancy is already tagged as one. It's either maybe the pelvis or your age. Short women are more prone to having this this condition, short pelvis and all of that. We also have cases of maybe the size of the child, the position of the child, the position of the placenta. There are so many reasons where during antenatal you'd have been informed, oh, it's advisable you go for a cesarean section, you know. And even if you are not categorized as a high-risk pregnancy, and then you still go into labor and you go to the hospital at the right time, you meet skilled birth attendants at the facility where you are expected to deliver. They will tell you when there is need for a special kind of intervention to avoid a prolonged obstructed labor. So yes, a prolonged obstructed labor is something that is highly preventable.
You deal with patients, women that come develop this issue, that are in this condition. What is the psychological feeling like for them?
It's terrible. We had a project in Zamfara about to mark the International Day to End Fistula, and we heard the women singing some songs that were very, very painful. We also had the IDUF that you witnessed in Abuja, and we heard women saying their stories. Same thing in Kaduna. Some can no longer go to church. Some cannot attend religious gatherings. Some have been left out and isolated from their families. Some, instead of having, you know, our usual makeup and all of that in our bags, they are carrying pads for continuous change. They are not living the life of me and you. They are living the life of pain, of abandonment, of mental distraught. I mean, they are not where me and you are today. They are not there. Many of them, unfortunately, have also been abandoned by their families. They have been abandoned by communities because, I mean, it stands to reason having to work with a woman who is peeing or pooing all over her body, and then there's this stench of urine or feces all around her. It's not even something you want to imagine. It's not a place any human being should be. Much more because I tried to give birth to a child and then I have to face that. I heard one of our survivors saying, I hated my child for that period, you know. I wanted to even kill my child because I had lost my life because of that child. That's a very terrible mental state.
Now, talking about the psychological aspect, how do you deal with this in your foundation?
Okay, so other than the usual surgery and all of that treatments aside, there is one thing we call the rehabilitation and reintegration project, right? So that is where we reunite the fistula survivors after they are dry. They have regained their self-esteem, their dignity. They are back to what they have always wanted to be. That is when we now reunite them with their families. So what we do usually is, number one, we empower them. Because when a woman is empowered, there is a natural self-esteem that comes back to her. You have something doing. You are not who you used to be. You have a say in your life. You can make decisions about your health, about your being, about what you even want to eat the next minute. So that's like the first thing for us. We empower these women. And then we invite their families, those that cared about her or those that left her behind. Sometimes it's the husbands that we invite. Sometimes it's actually her parents. Some would even tell you, I don't want to have anything to do with the husband that left me alone for years. I don't want to have anything to do. And you'd appreciate it. There was a woman that actually told us, if he wants me back, he would have to come and beg me for it. And then it felt like, you know, self-esteem restored. And, you know, it was a lot of joy for us hearing that. So people like that, we just invite their families and then we talk to them. We explain to them what actually even caused the condition, because many are not even aware of what caused the condition. So they probably feel it was a punishment. Maybe she did something wrong or something like that. So what we try to do is encourage these women and then teach the men also to understand what caused this thing and then how we can prevent it in the future and how they can continue to support these women.
Okay. In addressing the myth, how do you raise advocacy at the grassroots?
Okay, so one thing we always do at the grassroots level is engage with especially men.
Okay.
We do sensitization and programs with women. We are even having one as we speak right now with adolescent girls. But that's not enough. We have come to realize that the men are still the decision-making authority in our homes. They are either our fathers or our husbands or the elder brothers that make the decisions. So we cannot eradicate fistula or eradicate prolonged obstructed labor if the men do not understand what even causes this problem for these women and how it can be prevented and how they can support these women when they have this condition. So we engage with community leaders, community stakeholders. We engage with husbands, we engage with boys, we're not even going with only the husbands or those that are married, even the young boys. Before you get married, know what you want to do, know the kind of life you want to give your wife to be, know the kind of life you're giving your sister. That's what we do at the grassroots level.
Talking about treatment, is surgery the only way out?
Okay,
because I understand some went for surgeries twice, thrice, Is surgery the only way out?
It's the major way out,
Okay.
but we have few cases where the fistula may have occurred for a few weeks, maybe a month, maybe 6 weeks. In those kind of situations, we don't need a surgery. Usually what we need is something they would usually call catheterization.
Okay.
Sometimes even bladder training, and then the woman can be fine on her own. But when we have a full-grown fistula, it's a hole, so that hole has to be repaired, has to be closed back together. So that's more like the only way to do it. Unfortunately, we have cases of relapses. We have surgeries not being very successful, especially when the person has had 2 to 3 or more cases. It becomes a little more complicated than the usual. And if you have even been operated by somebody that is not an expert fistula surgeon, it even becomes worse. They may worsen the whole thing, and when the fistula surgeon now sees it, it's probably beyond repair at the time. So we have cases we call irreparable fistula. So there are just about 2-3 surgeons in Nigeria. They are trained, for those kind of fistula surgeries. It's now free in all of these fistula centers. That's the truth. You go to any of these fistula centers and you don't have to pay any fee. You're going to be catered for and all of that. So what we NGOs or CSOs do is now to support the logistics around these surgeries.
How do we handle this? Some are in isolation. They will never come out. They will never talk about it. Their families have left them. They just do their thing. They are just like, oh, okay, it's my fate.
Okay, so one thing that has been very, very important to us in Bashir Foundation, even when we started and we couldn't even do that, it was very painful, was because we as much as we were supporting the women that found their way to the hospital, we had major concerns about women that did not even know that there was treatment or that there was care. They have been abandoned. They are probably living in some uncompleted building or some, isolated homes, We've always been worried about who reaches these women. And, some places are really hard to reach areas. So, luckily we were able to get support and they became our priority. And we started by looking for people in those communities that would help us find them. Because some women have given up on their lives.
Yes.
They have, maybe some have even had 1 or 2 surgeries, or some have, I've met a woman that has undergone, she has suffered from fistula for 20 years.
Wow.
Right? And the father actually received an award from UNFPA because he supported her all through the 20 years. There was no husband again. Husband had left her. But that man was special because he's one of the very few, maybe 1 out of 1,000 fathers who will stand by their child for 20 solid years. But that woman is lucky. She still found someone who stood by her for that long. What about those that do not have people that are standing by them? So what we do is we actually look for people in those communities to help us find women who are living isolated and suffering from this condition. and we try to see how we can support these women and ensure that they are able to restore their self-esteem before we return them back to their communities.
To their communities. Earlier you mentioned the issue of age. What has age got to do with this? Early marriage?
Yes, so you know that one of the things that causes obstructed prolonged labor is a small pelvis. Now, while being short is a predisposing factor to it, malnutrition is also a predisposing factor to it. Being a young child, I mean, a young child, her hand is not even grown. How much more her reproductive organ? She's still a child. So she would naturally have she would naturally have either a small pelvis or an immature reproductive organ. And so it is only natural for such a child to be at a very, very high risk of having a prolonged obstructed labor. Okay. So that is what connects young age with fistula. If a child is getting married at age 9, age 10, age 11, she's still a child. Her organs are still
developing.
Yes, they are still developing. So she would naturally be at risk of having prolonged obstructed labor.
Okay. Now we are raising advocacy. We are amplifying voices. You are a woman and I'm a woman. Now, for every woman out there going through this phase or that is pregnant, what will be your words?
Okay, so for the pregnant ones, one thing I want every woman to even start with to understand is that you are not, except you're already in menopause. Okay. If you're still bearing children, do not say for sure that you cannot be a victim of this condition. Many of us have this mindset that it is restricted to those in the rural areas or those that are poor or something. That's not the truth. We have cases like I said, we have cases of iatrogenic fistula, hysterectomy gone wrong. So hysterectomy can even happen to somebody that had menopause, for example. I think we have a woman of 50-something years. She went through hysterectomy and hysterectomy went wrong, and then now she developed fistula. So there is nobody that cannot suffer from this condition. So when you see a woman suffering from this condition, do not look down on her. She's me, she's you, she's a woman like us. We need to support this kind of women. And for pregnant women, we had a sensitization of pregnant women recently. And we were asking them, they came for antenatal. They all came for antenatal. And we're like, okay, since you came for antenatal, you're going to be coming to deliver in the hospital. And they said no. They said no. Like I think we're meeting about 50 of them or so. And there was only 3 or 4 women. There were only 3 or 4 women that said they were going to come and deliver in the hospital. I was shocked. It's a rural environment, but it was shocking to me because if I can bring myself to the hospital for antenatal, why wouldn't, that means I'm learned enough to understand the importance of coming to the hospital, and I should want to come and deliver in the hospital. But that's not the case with these women. They tell you they come for antenatal so that they can check their babies and make sure their babies are fine till term. And then when it's time to give birth, they call a nurse around. And nurses are better now. They will just come to their homes and deliver them. It was an interesting experience for me, not because I have not heard it before, but hearing it from these women directly, you know, I was like, we tried to convince them. They were just looking at us that whatever you want to say, say it is your business. So
we had delivering at home.
We are delivering at home. So we had to start giving them delivery kits and telling them, okay, promise us that you're collecting this hospital delivery kits. You will come to the hospital to deliver. And they were like, okay, we'll come. So for every pregnant woman out there, you're not, I told one of my co-founders recently, I said, I had a fear when I was pregnant. A friend of mine was pregnant. So she wanted to go and deliver in her parents' place. I'm sorry. She wanted to go and deliver in her parents' place. And then she caught up with labor on her way, on a journey to her parents' place. So she had to go they just took her to any hospital on that road.
Just to deliver?
Yes, just to deliver. So imagine that it was a hospital without any skilled birth attendant. It was a hospital without a doctor or a trained midwife. Even she, as educated as she was, could have developed fistula. So I kept telling myself, it could be me, even if I am pregnant and then I have registered in the most expensive antenatal. And then I am just on a journey or in wrong place, wrong time, and then I just go to a hospital and I do not get the kind of care that I need. So anybody can actually be a victim of this, educated or not, rich or poor. Let's just ensure that wherever we are going to, we are able to get a skilled birth attendant, someone that we can trust, you know, to take care of us. That's very important, because it doesn't matter how expensive the hospital is, really, it doesn't.
It doesn't really matter. Okay, now, you mentioned they insisted they were going to give birth at home, but really several factors are responsible for that. One, it could be poverty, financial instability.
The truth is the government has a lot to do, and it's not even federal governments, the state governments, the local governments, because number one, when we were doing a research recently, primary health care centers in some villages don't even have skilled birth attendants at all.
At all.
That's the truth. They don't even have I'm encouraging a woman to go to a primary health care center, and the woman is going there and she's not getting anybody to take care of her. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I have also had fistula cases of women that went to the hospital and the hospital was on strike. And then eventually she had no choice but to go and deliver at home. So how do I preach to that kind of a woman to trust the hospital again? I also have cases of women going to the primary health care center, and then by 2 p.m., the health centers are closed.
They're closed.
And you know our babies, they love to come out in the middle of the night. So, you know, it's either the primary health care centers are closed, or the roads are bad, or there's also insecurity. You know, there's also insecurity, or there are no doctors or birth attendants to attend to these women. So I've always been very concerned about, when I tell these women to go to the health hospital, am I sure they're going to get the kind of care that they deserve at the hospital? To be honest, I'm not sure. And if there's anything at all the government can do, it will be that.
It will be that. Barakat Adewale, Executive Director, Bashir Foundation for Fistula and Women's Health. I want to thank you so much for joining us on Insight this week, and thank you for enlightening us. Thank you
so
very
much
much
for having me. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Whatever the issues are,
The National Assembly is constitutionally empowered to scrutinize.
However complex or intricate.
We have involved all the academia, the members of the academia. We have involved the academies.
be it government policies or in fact any issue of public concern,
Our job is to help you gain clarity and make sense of it all.
This is not really healthy for our democracy.
There's a lot of grievance in terms of who has been in power longest and who becomes the governor of the state.
It's also in the quality of food being consumed.
After all, perception is insight.
and gaining understanding is also getting insight.
A male child, typically younger than 18, they are human offsprings who are male like other children. They require care, love, and support to grow and thrive. They grow up to become men who lead families, societies, and organizations. How do we advance their cause? My guest, Dr. Hilary Akwa, President, Great Achievers Initiative for Youth and Community Development, will tell us. Dr. Hilary, thank you so much for joining us on Insight.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oftentimes we talk about women because of the importance or the role of the woman when it comes to life. So much attention is placed on women. Now, while implementing the reforms necessary to strengthen our economy and deliver shared prosperity, in what areas would you say the federal government has really helped in shaping the lives of our boys, especially the youth, actually, especially the boys?
Okay, at the time, one of our matron was talking about, I think there is a need to also have the Ministry of Boys Affairs.
Okay.
We argued
Boys,
that,
men?
yes, men or boys affairs, also all the same. We argued that some time ago. But if there is an opportunity by this government that will train boys, especially because boys, they will be head of family tomorrow. That's why I have a lot of divorce cases in the society. I think it's hard time we also start paying attention to boys. If federal government, with Mr. President 2 years in office, can also launch something for the boys, that will train the boys that, yes, it's not just the educational part of it, the moral part of it, that they are human beings before they become boys. that means it will ease a lot of menace in the society. It will even help the government to also understand that definitely when these boys get trained and they get to family tomorrow, it will get better. Drugs will reduce, crime will reduce in society, and it will reduce the form that the government pressures in it as well. So, but having done that as a private individual, we do our normal sensitizations, we do our trainings, we train the parents, we do what we call train of trainers, which is the parent, our parent training. Sometimes we train the schools, school teachers. Why? To get to these boys. We know that some of them, they are in school. Some of them pass through a lot, even from their parents. Some are being trained by single mothers. But why are these people not taken care of? They talk about more of the girls. But imagine that the girls that you are protecting get married to an untrained boy tomorrow. That's a disaster. If you bring it down and take it to the family, you know that if we start one boy at a time, we'll have a better society. We're not just asking for everybody, but we know that in each sensitization that we go, at least one person listens to us and they say, hi, thank God that someone is talking about the boys. So I urge everybody, if you are listening to me, you can also add your voice to the voice of the boy child, knowing truly well that we know that the female, they are vulnerable because we can't afford your precious girl that you've trained and get married to untrained boys. And someone is also said that it's better to train a boy than to repair a broken man. So you know that there is a missing link somewhere. That's why we take a different route. Some people are saying, no, boys can take care of themselves. Even to get a support, sometimes it's very, very difficult because they say, boys, we are talking about the boys. Boys, they can take care of themselves. And don't forgetting that boys, they are also vulnerable. It's during the course of the Great Achievers Initiative that we know that a lot of boys die inside. Their parents might be dealing with drugs and they don't know how to say it out. But when we come for sensitization, someone will say, sir, thank you so much for doing this. I don't know where to start. My parents is so and so. Those kind of person, what will you do? You have to involve a professional consultant, a professional to come and also listen to him and see how he can counsel him. So the course that we take is not what the society is used to. If I come to talk to 100 persons, I don't need that 100 persons to say yes. I just need one person, because if we affect one person, it goes down to the family, it goes down to the society, and at least that change contributes. That's our own pleasure. That's our own happiness, that at least we are affecting lives in one way or the other. But you see the boy child, if you are thinking about it, please start adding your voice to the voice of the boy child, especially the parents. You can imagine in the family, a boy and a girl might be playing in the parlor. The mom will come and tell the girl, go and cook in the kitchen, tomorrow you get married, and allow the boy to start playing. The society have already positioned the boy child to be a very strong person, even if you are dying inside. But we said no. As a boy child, if you have what it takes to also speak out, to talk to people, to be the boy that you are, to be human being, it will go a long way.
That's why we have prevalence of deaths coming from gender-based violence. But really, how do we change the narrative in society? Because there has to be acceptance, because there's this myth around the boy child. You don't cry. You don't show your emotions, but they have emotions.
Yes. The main thing is for more people to start talking about the boys. That is how we're not going to shift the narrative from the ladies, from the female, from the girls. No, we're talking about the balancing. When I'm talking about it, you that is listening to me, you can as well in your own little family start talking about the boys. Start asking them their feelings. Some men are not there for their boy child. They only provide. Who trained you how to become a man? You probably tell a please go and manage yourself. And street is the best place they can learn those ones, or internet. And guess what? Internet training will always be internet training. So everybody is everybody's business. The boy child is everybody's business. You have a mentor, you have people that you look at. You know, it's not only the money. Money is important, but there's some emotional things that the boys go through. We'll start training them on that. If you call for any parental program, please attend. It's important to know how to train your girl, but it's also very important to train your boy, because it's going to head a home tomorrow. Even if you want to be a reverend father or don't want to marry tomorrow, but at least it's going to lead people. And if he lacks those little home training and everything, probably it's going to affect his growth. And guess what? It's only what is garbaged in that will be garbaged out.
Yes.
And imagine that what was garbaged in was what was being trained from the internet or from the streets. Definitely that is what is going to go out there to also garbage out to the people, probably when he was going to be a man, and tell them, this is what I learned, this is what I learned from my elder people, this is what I learned from the internet. But then you will not be there to correct it. So what are we saying? Add your voice to our voice. I'm also asking Mr. President on this venue to also see how he can also create the Ministry of Men Affairs. It is very, very important. We don't know what might come out from it, but definitely we will know that it will also better our society. It will also add, it will also contribute in the betterment of the society. And people that is vulnerable can have a place that they say, if you come here, all your challenges will be from. I know a lot of people that is also advocates and also mentors. They also provide their voices.
For ages, the issues of the boy child have been swept under the carpet, because we believe that once you have a boy child, he doesn't have problems. He's strong. He can withstand any pressure. He's there. That's his build. But we forget that they are also human beings with feelings. Where have we gotten it wrong? Society, family, and government. Where?
First of all, we won't blame government for everything. We won't also blame society for everything.
Okay.
Because everything starts from family. Society is made up of family. Community. From community, we now get into society.
Okay.
Do you get it now? So now, imagine in my own capacity, I'm not taking care of my boy. And tomorrow, that boy will grow up to be a man. And it's the lesson that he learned from me not taking care of him and telling him the right things to do as a man, that he would teach his or his own children. You see where it started escalating. So, but government can also bring out a policy that as a man, you have to stay with your boy for probably for some years when he growing is in adolescent, and tell him, see, as a man, you're supposed to know this, you're supposed to say this, you're supposed to do X, Y, Z. That is where government can come in. But imagine that we start this in our individual homes, taking responsibility, not just providing. That started going wrong from the family, moved to the community, to the society, and at large, the world. It is not only Nigeria. That's why we should start doing something about it. Even the media should start pushing more. There's one sensation we went one day, and one boy said, "Thank you so much, sir. Nobody have come for the boys. It's only for the girls." And I shook out for a little. I said, "Thank God for this cause." They say people always come for the girls. Nobody have ever come for us in this our school. That is when I hit my chair. I said, "You see this installation? We'll continue doing it. Even support come or doesn't come. In our only two way, we'll be doing it. Because you don't know which life and which person you are touching." So it has been amazing. Start paying attention to your boy child. All those things is just to attract more attention to the forgotten side of the human, which is the boy child that will grow to be a man tomorrow.
That will grow to be a man tomorrow. All right, Hilary Akwa, thank you so much for joining us on Insight, and thank you for promoting the cause of the boy child. And I think you should begin with a push of a bill to see if a commission would be possible to attend to the needs of our boys. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Lizzie.
President Bola Tinubu is the 16th and current president of Nigeria. He assumed office in 2023. He previously served as the governor of Lagos State from 1999 to 2007 and senator for Lagos West in the Third Republic. He's saddled with the task to drive the affairs of Nigeria. It's 2 years and several citizen-friendly reforms have been designed to improve the lives of citizens and, by extension, develop the nation. Lately, significant improvement noticeable in all sectors. On this segment, we will assess the performance and we will delve into policies on housing a bit. And my guests, Garba Salisu Takware, Commissioner of Rural and Community Development, Kebbi State, who joins us via Zoom, and Honore Kendi Honore, board member, Estate Surveyors and Value Registration Board of Nigeria, will speak to us. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on Insights.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Now, President Tinubu's administration in the last 2 years has made tremendous impact through actionable policies. What is your assessment? Let's begin with the Commissioner.
Elizabeth, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Nigerians, and happy second anniversary of the President and the state. The assessment I can say from what I have seen and what I have learned. Since 1999, I was in government and I'm doing the politics. To be sincere and honest, I have never ever seen a president that come into the government like Tinubu, who has prepared for the leadership. Because there are many leaders that they will look for the leadership, they will look for the position, but they are not ready for that. But in terms of Tinubu and my own governor, before they look for these positions, I am sure they have already ready and they have made their all plans, all the feasibility studies, all the things they want to do for the nation and the states. Honestly, they have already prepared and ready for that. So God good enough, when he looked for this position, God also helped him to secure the ticket from the primaries and also secure the general election, and being sworn in on the 29th of May 2023 as a president of this country. If you look at the way and manner he has started, since after his swearing in as the president and commander-in-chief of this country, you have seen the action he has taken and the development he has brought to this country in the 36 states. Honestly, is something that is very commendable.
Commissioner, I would like to hear from our estate valuer. I would like you to just pause a little there. Mr. Honore, let's have your thoughts. How would you assess his 2 years of leading us, of leadership?
Thank you very much. His assessment in office. We can give him a pass mark. He has started in a brighter note. Looking at the industry I'm coming from, as an estate surveyor and valuer, we have the Renew Hope housing scheme in place through the Federal Ministry of Housing, which is being aided by Architect Dakingiwa, the Honorable Minister of Housing. President Tinubu has done tremendously well. He's laying the foundation within the space of that 2 years in terms of housing in Nigeria. If you look at the Renew Hope agenda, looking at the housing scheme, we have about 14 states of the Federation, which the Renew Housing Scheme has touched, and construction work is ongoing through the Federal Ministry of Housing. If you look at those he has placed in all areas of ministry, agencies, and parastatals, they are technocrats, well equipped And they are running the agenda of Mr. President. But what we can assess, or what I can say for now, is he has laid a foundation within the space of 2 years. And I strongly believe that with the foundation he has laid, the next 2 years of his administration, we will have a vital and a better understanding of the foundation that has been laid. Thank you very much.
Okay. Now, my next question is to the commissioner in Kebbi State. Now, you are in charge of rural and community development. Now, talking about housing, the housing scheme in Nigeria, how has this actionable policies been able to help your state reduce housing deficits?
Thank you, Elizabeth. As you have said, as a commissioner for rural and community development, that rural development, that is the main cardinal objectives for my governor and my state. The development of rural, if you have developed the rural, it means that you have developed all. Because rural community, they carry about 90% than the urban areas. So, presently, if you go, each of the local governments we have in Kebbi State now, talk less of the whole state, including the state capital, you will find the impact like feeder roads and other electricity and other water something has been laid down there. It has been taken there. And if you go by the rural areas, as you have said, that is the headquarters of each local government. We have placed the constructions of not less than 20 housing units in each of the local government, about 21 local government we have in the Kebbi State. So it's all under this administration. All the emirates we have, all the rural areas we have, there is no place where we have not taken either a road by construction of the roads, by housing and the electricity. All this rural electricity board, which is under my observation, that we are doing a lot. We have constructed a lot of MBA stations. So the feeder roads, it has been started. There is about how many roads, how many thousands of kilometers that we have flagged off, and then all the construction is going on. And then if you go by water something, also the water, we have constructed not less than 250,000 hand pumps and then motorized boreholes. So you see, all we are doing is in the interest of our community as a rural development, because we have the belief, if we have developed the rural, it means that we have developed the whole state, inshallah.
All right, Mr. Honore, a report from the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics indicate that policies made within 2 years of President Tinubu's administration moved real estate sector from top 5 to top 3 largest. How do we leverage this for economic growth?
Looking at the statistics from Bureau of Statistics, no doubt, based on policies, formulation, implementation of such policies, and sequel to the administration through the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. These policies has culminated into economic growth of the nation. It has provided a lot of employment opportunity, creation of job, small and medium enterprises. They have gained a lot of access to funding, construction work, artisan. Most of them, they are able to get 1 or 2 things in their hands for them to have a living. And real estate, as a matter of fact, knowing fully well that there is diversification in the economy from oil. I think real estate is the next to oil. And as such, with the report from Bureau of Statistics, provision of job employment. We have a lot of investment going on in real estate, and it is being used to generate income to the government. And with this, it has given real estate a lot of panacea for them to generate income for the government. And this is making, these are some of the indices that Bureau of Statistics are looking into by increasing the prowess and the progress in real estate as the third means of economic generation in Nigeria. But when we have policies that are in place, policy formulation is there, implementation is key. Since this current administration has taken the bull by the horn and they have started the implementation, the policy can go on, the implementation can continue. 10 years, 15 years plan, it is just for the next government coming in to key into that, and it will be a win-win situation for the whole country. Thank you.
All right. Let's move to Kebbi. How has these policies been able to help your state advance in terms of housing, healthcare, and empowerment for women and the youth?
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. These policies of healthcare, housing, and other educational policies, honestly, it helps us a lot, because as of now, as I'm talking to you, if you go to any of we have about 190 something primary healthcare institutions that we are going to rehabilitate. And then all the process has been put on the ground. The bidding and everything has been concluded. The only thing remains now to give it to the contractors who are going to do it. And then not only rehabilitation, we have the equipment. And then the governor has also declared that the medication or the drugs will be given free, more especially to children and women in this country and in this state. Wherever hospitals they went, that one is given to them free. And then if you come to the education, presently in these 2 years, which is not even up to 2 years, it's about to be 2 years in this administration, we have rehabilitated not less than 1,350 something primary schools and tertiary institutions. And then all these institutions, all these primaries and institutions has been equipped with equipment that is table and chairs and other learning materials. So you see, all these policies, the one that the federal government has bring, honestly, it has made a lot of impact to our own distance, because in terms of housing, healthcare, and educational distance, honestly, in Kebbi State, we have done a lot within just 2 years. We have embraced them, and then we are implementing them accordingly. And by God's grace, inshallah, all the people of Kebbi and Nigeria as a whole, they will see the impact of this administration. And then they have started seeing it. The only thing, the remaining 2 years for them, just to see, to finish the remaining policies and the plans they have already put on the ground. So I think these policies, as you have said, by God's grace, we are implementing it one after the other, and then we are going to achieve it by God's grace.
Okay. All right, Mr. Honore, under the Renewed Hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu, there's the Renewed Hope Cities and Estates Program, as well as the National Housing Social Program. These are very, very important initiatives to change the housing deficit issues we've been having. But from the perspective of a valuer, how do we upscale affordability?
Thank you very much once again. From the perspective of an estate surveyor and valuer, accessibility is key. And when it talks of accessibility to housing or accessibility to real estate, the Federal Ministry of Housing they are giving all available mechanism for houses to be accessible. No matter your income, you can always access affordable housing through this administration. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, with the policies that has been put in place through the Ministry of Housing, which is headed by Architect Dakingiwa, every Nigeria can access affordable housing, no matter the level of your income.
All right, before I let our commissioner go in, Kebbi, what would you say are your expectations from the present administration as regards the development of your state?
Thank you, Elizabeth. And I'm sure by the end of the 4 years they are going to do, we are even going to see more than 100% of what they have planned. Maybe we are going to have about 120 or 150%. Because what they have done now, honestly, is even more than pass mark. We have given them more than pass mark. We have given them about 70 to 80. And in a place where you are going to do something in 100%, after just half of that, you have done more than 80%. It means that you have done all the remaining that is coming up. You are going to just add on part of that. So honestly, what you are expecting, I'm telling you, he has already delivered about 70 to 80% to us. What was left, honestly, is just a finishing distance and then trying to see that how they are going to come back to continue with 2027 by God's grace. So all we are saying to them, we are wishing them the best, we are wishing them well, and then we are calling for the Nigerians to see the impact based on the assessment, to see the impact and the ability these people have so that they will bring them to continue 2027 by God's grace. That is all I'm calling for our fellow Nigerians and other people in this in our neighboring countries, because even our neighboring countries, honestly, they are 100% happy with this government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Okay, before we talk about areas where we need them to work on more, let's hear from Mr. Honore. Do you have expectations?
Yes, the expectation is high. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he has done well for himself in terms of housing. He has done well for the nation. He has only succeeded in laying the foundation. And there is a part of the religions where I belong as a Christian. He say, if the foundation is destroyed, what will the righteous do? The foundation has been laid. The foundation will build another foundation. So once the foundation is being laid by the president or the current administration, the expectation is high. Let them build on the foundation that has been laid. Then in the next 2 years, we will be able to assess and say, oh, the foundation that was laid in the last 2 years, the next 1 year, the next 2 years, it will be well known to the whole nation that yes, what they have started, they are able to finish it well.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, with an estimated budget of 54.99 trillion naira, are there areas you would like them to focus more attention on for us to have all-round development?
Thank you very much. With that budget, the budget is one of the highest since the inception of this country, this nation, Nigeria. Aside housing, we've seen the work going on in terms of road construction by the Minister of Housing, Engineer David Umahi. I will want the current administration to focus more on education. Our education should be looked into critically. Not only education, in terms of agriculture, you know, looking at the cost of food. Let the presidency, let them look into education, into agriculture, let them look into insecurity. When you are secure, development will be rapid. Then the aspect of road construction. Let them work on it. In the next 1 year, in the next 2 years, it's going to be a win-win situation for the country. Thank you.
A win-win situation. Garba Salisu Takware, Commissioner of Rural and Community Development, Kebbi State, and Honore Kende, Honore Board Member, Estate Surveyors and Valuers Registration Board of Nigeria. I want to thank you so much for joining us on Insight. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ezelede, for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. God bless. Yeah.
Be your brother's keeper. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.